Next part includes the different interactions of different species or different population within a particular ecosystem. So you might be asking, since there are two particular populations here, two species involved, um, this can be part of the community, but this is actually being put on to the population ecology, since I guess there are two um, population or two only two individuals are involved. Okay, so there are five different specific interactions that happens among organisms within the ecosystem. So you have predation, so nandiyan yung prey at yung predator. Parasitism, being the parasite or considered as parasites. Commensalism, or the commensal organisms. Mutualism, there is a mutualistic relationship or symbiotic relationship. And of course, you have competition. Sa competition naman, may dalawang klase wherein magbibilong pa rin siya sa population ecology or population level. Kasi merong interspecific competition, so it involves two different species. Meron naman pong intra-specific competition, ibig sabihin that is different individuals, two or more individuals in the same population of the same species. Okay, so we will try to discuss this one by one. Okay, so predation or the predation. A community interaction where one species is predator eats another species, the prey. So ito yung predator, yung kumakain, at you have the prey. So I think this is very self-explanatory. So this um, type of interaction is positive-negative interaction. Kumbaga, you have the positive side or the benefit for predator, and of course, the cost is the one that bears the cost is you have the prey. So positive for the predator and negative for the prey. So predation is also applicable for animals and plant interaction. So both animal-animal interaction and animal-plant interaction, medyan yung tinatawag nating herbivory. Okay, especially for herbivores or plant-eating animals. So adaptation in both predators and prey evolve through time. Okay? So most probably or most observed characteristic of predators have acute senses, structural adaptations like sharp teeth, you have a claw, and you have agility. So sa prey naman, behavioral adaptation, of course, since they knew that they have their predators through time or through the course of evolution, they have the mechanism how to hide from the predator. Okay, so there are also chemical toxins, especially for plants. They tend to produce toxic compounds which deters herbivory or deters herbivores. You have also structural to attack or escape from the predator. So if they tend to be small than the predator, so they have this mechanism of how they can counterattack the the action of the predator. Okay, and of course the structural also na um, they have this the mechanism that they are much faster, escaping mechanism na much faster than the attack mechanism of the predator, and of course hiding itself through blending to the environment that is the camouflage. Okay, so in a particular ecosystem, okay, so the population of the prey determines the population of the predator. So parang the population changes is parang pareho ng trend. So kumbaga kung bababa yung population ng prey isang predator, tataas naman yung hindi, bababa din yung population ng predator na nakadepende sa kanya. So that is also very applicable, or that particular cycle is tinatawag na boom and bust cycle. Okay? So kung pababa or aakyat yung population ng prey, ganun din yung trend ng predator. However, that depends if the predator is a specialist or naturalist. Ibig sabihin, kung kung iisa lang ang kanyang food item or marami siyang food item. Okay? Yeah. Next, you have parasitism, so interaction in which one organism, the parasite, derives its nutrients, nourishment to another organism, which is considered the host. So sa parasitism, you have the parasite, yun yung nakikinabang sa tinatawag na organism or kumukuha ng nutrients from other organism, which is termed as the host. Okay? Which is harmed in some way. So parang positive-negative interaction pa rin siya. But take note, a good parasite never kill its host. Kasi kung namatay ang host niya, namamatay din siya. Kasi wala na siyang kukunan ng nutrients niya mismo. So in terms of the location of parasite in the body, you have two different classifications. You have endoparasite and you have ectoparasite. And I assume that this particular category is very self-explanatory. Endoparasite nasa loob, ectoparasite nasa labas. Okay? So the connection of the parasite to its host is possible, or tatanungin nyo paano dumating yung parasite dun sa host. So there are instances, or there are parasitic interaction or parasitism na interaction na nangyayari. Possible yung pagpunta ng parasite sa host through what we so called vector. Pwede naman pong directly parasite goes to in its host, but there are cases na there are some parasites that uses a vector in order to reach its host. Okay? So this is an example of the process of the different hosts and the different parasites. Okay, so kumbaga kung during the life cycle of the parasite, merong vector organism na maghahatid nung undeveloped, kumbaga, for example, the eggs to its host, at saka doon na siya mag-germinate or magde-develop doon sa host mismo. Okay? So, meron tinatawag din sa parasitism na vector organism. Okay. So another type of interaction, you have commensalism. So interaction in which the symbiont benefits in the host is ineffective. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag na positive zero interaction. Okay? For example, an example of commensalism, you have the clownfish in a sea anemone. So this sea anemone has a stinging cells which affects other organisms except for the clownfish. So clownfish can actually use this particular area as its habitat. Okay, so this sea anemone protects the clownfish from the predators through the stinging cells na unaffected naman ang sea anemone. Okay? So, sinasabi din nila na true commensalism is very difficult to find. Imposible na yung isang organism ay walang effect sa kanya. Is it either positive or negative? So dito naman, kung titingnan natin, the waste materials of this particular fish can be absorbed by the sea anemone. So pwedeng maging positive interaction pa rin siya. Gaya ng egret doon sa kalabaw. Okay? So yung egret kumakain nung lice or ectoparasite ng karabaw. Okay? So ang effect nun, yung karabaw mismo, nawawala ng parasite, ectoparasite. Yung egret naman, aside from food, they can also be protected from other organisms kasi nandun sila malapit sa kalabaw na hindi naman sila inaano. So, it's very difficult to have or to observe commensalism. Okay. Next, you have mutualism. So, any relationship between two species organism that benefits both species. Tinatawag din itong symbiosis. Okay? The very common example is the insect that gets nectar, provides nourishment, and the plant is being pollinated. Okay? So, yun ang mutualistic relationship. Positive interaction. Okay. Mutualism then is observed in this co-evolutionary species, the fig and the fig wasp. Okay. Ano nangyayari dito? Okay. This particular fig tree or the ficus produces its flower in a form of syngonium. Okay. Ibig sabihin ng syngonium, para siyang fruit, pero these are enclosed flowers nasa loob. Okay. So, there is a particular species of wasp, the fig wasp, that lays their egg inside the flower of um, the ficus. So, dun siya maglilay ng eggs sa mga reproductive parts ng flowers na nandoon sa loob. Okay? This is a female. Yan. So, aside from that, or after laying their eggs, yan, magmamature na yung egg. Ang unang lalabas na mga ng offspring sa egg ay mga lalaki. Okay? Unang nagmamature ang mga lalaking wasp. So, ang mga lalaking wasp, since una silang nagmamature, they will try to copulate the immature female eggs. Okay? So, mag-impregate na sila ng kanilang sperm cell or reproductive cell sa female eggs. Okay? So, after impregnation of their sperm, gagawa sila ngayon ng tunnel palabas ng palabas ng flower ng fig. So, eto, as they make their holes outside, namamatay yung mga male wasp. Okay, yung unang nag-mature. Okay. So, after na mag-develop yung mga female eggs, okay, so, lalabas sila ngayon, okay, iikot sila dito sa mga flowers ng ficus or ng fig, okay. So, sa pag-ikot nila dito, there is pollination na nangyayari. Okay? So, iikot kasi sila upon its development para hanapin yung host to escape from the flower. Okay? So, as they find their escape out or way out, napopollinate naman nila ito. Okay? So, paglabas nila dito, they are already with the sperm of the male ones. So, kung magiging adult na sila, for example, capable of, or maglilay na naman sila ng egg, hahanap na naman sila ng panibagong flower. So, yun yung co-evolution ng wasp at ng flower ng fig or ng ficus. Okay, so there is also what we so called interspecific competition. Okay, interspecific, ibig sabihin maraming or dalawa, two or more species are involved. So occurs when two or more species in a community rely on similar limiting resources. So nag-aaway sila because of the resources na pareho nilang ginagamit or ina-acquire. Okay, so for example, the carnivores in Africa. Okay, so interspecific competition, in this particular type of competition, nandiyan yung tinatawag na exclusion principle or competitive exclusion principle. Ibig sabihin, complete competitors cannot coexist. There is a particular group or individuals or population that needs to go in other place in search for food. So that particular principle is being tested. In this example, you have the diatoms. So you have silica, you have silica here, the brown, yan, and you have what we call this, one species of diatom and the other species of diatom. So if you have the silica here and one species, yung makikita mo na nagdo-dominate yung isang species since they are competing for one resource. Dito naman, natatalo pa rin si silica ng one species kasi dominant sila. Pag pinaghalo na yung tatlo, only one still maintain its population. Yung iba, wala. So, ibig sabihin, in this case, the three types of diatoms are using the same resource. So, they tend to compete for that particular resource, but the best competitor will exist. Okay? So, matatalo at matatalo yung iba. Okay? So, there are three possible outcomes of competition. You have to fight. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo, which leads to character displacement. Okay? Or flight leads to range restriction. Kumbaga, since they are not a best competing species, ibig sabihin, doon lang sila sa areas na hindi naman pinupuntahan or hindi nagagamit nung the best competitive individuals. Or fright, which leads to extinction. Okay. So, which is a sad thing kasi nawawala yung population ng species. Okay. So, if there is interspecific competition, okay, another important term which is included in that type of interaction, you have ecological niche. So, an ecological niche can be defined as the sum of the total of organisms' use of biotic and abiotic resources in its environment and how it fits into an ecosystem. Kumbaga, it includes the habitat, it includes its function, and it includes the resources that is used by the organism. That is the totality of what we so called ecological niche, which can be of two types. You have fundamental niche, so the resources of an organism or population is theoretically capable of using under an ideal circumstances. Kumbaga, yung range ng species or population na kaya in comes to resources and in comes to the habitat. Pero, since there is competition or there are other individuals, meron din tayong tinatawag na realized niche. So, the resources and organisms or population actually uses. So, kumbaga, if you have a range of resources within the fundamental niche, only half or one fourth or only a proportion of that is being available or is available for the population. So that is what we so call the realized niche. So restricted by a biological constraint such as competition, like of interspecific competition. For example, if you have two species of univalves in the ocean, which is using rocks uh, as its substrate. So, it is affected by the high tide and the low tide. Yan. So, in both species, this is the range of the fundamental niche. Okay? However, for Balanus, for example, ito lang yung kanyang realized niche. Bakit? Okay? It is being limited by a competitor which is the thalamus. Okay? So, hindi niya na siya nag-i-increase. Ito naman, sa thalamus, hindi na rin siya bumababa. Gawa ng meron din nga siyang competitor. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito rin din yung realized niche niya. Okay? Ayan. So, hindi na siya bumababa. So, ito pala, is the fundamental niche of thalamus. Okay? So, ang thalamus pwedeng dumiretso hanggang dito. Pero since you have the balanus na ang fundamental niche ay ito, okay? So, hindi na siya nakaka-extend dito. Nare-reduce yung kanyang um, niche. Okay? Ito na lang yung realized niche na. And as you can see, the fundamental niche can be equal to the realized niche. That is in the case of Balanus. Ibig sabihin, best competitor si Balanus. Kasi na-maintain niya or nag-i-equal niya yung fundamental niche niya at saka yung realized niche na. Which reduces the realized niche for Thalamus. Although, ang kaya ni Thalamus ay itong range na ito. Okay, so it's because of the competition, nandyan yung differences. Although mahaba yung fundamental niche mo, since may competition, pwedeng mag-reduce siya, yun na yung realized niche mo. Pero kung ikaw ay best competitor, your fundamental niche or yung range ng resources or environment na kaya mo, okay, ma-occupy mo siya ng buo. Yun pa rin yung realized niche na yung realized niche ng organism na yun. Okay? Kasi best competitor na siya. Okay. So, ang resulta din ng competition or interspecific competition ay mayroon tayong resource partitioning. So, kung ikaw ay, kumbaga, they will tend to reduce competition, okay? So, kung ayaw mo na makipag-compete, you tend to search for another place to forage or to get resources. So, ito yung resource partitioning. For example, if you have the different species of birds, they try to forage in different parts of a tree. Okay? So, siya dito sa baba, or sa gitna, siya dito sa may lower lang ng tip, siya naman sa side, siya naman ito. So, this is resource partitioning. They tend to use a specific area, okay, or they try to forage in a specific area to reduce competition. So the division of environmental resources by coexisting species population such that the niche of each species differs from one or more significant factors from the niches of all existing species. Ginagawa nila ito to reduce population competition. Or, yung sabi kanina dito sa um, three possible outcomes, you have to fight. Okay? In order to fight, there is what we so-called character displacement. The divergence of overlapping characteristic in two species living in the same environment as a result of resource partitioning. Okay? So, since nagkakaroon ngayon ng fight, uh, okay, so lalaban siya within the same location, but they tend to change their area, okay, at the same time change the characteristic of a gradual change of the characteristic of food that they consume. So most probably they will try to change their phenotype and even their behavior, so that is character displacement. Okay, so nagbabago yung kanyang food item, nagbabago ng kanyang behavior, at the same time, yung kanyang phenotypic characteristic. But character displacement and resource partitioning is a matter of several years to develop. Okay? So, unti-unting nalilearn or nag-evolve yung process na yun. So, it doesn't happen in one day or short period of time. It happens on a longer period of time. So, those are the different topics included in topic 5, which is population ecology.